Athletes, you're starting to tack on the miles and you're starting to see those running times drop and it's starting to feel good. Now you're wondering, do I need to upgrade the gear to take it to the next level? But 250 bucks on those super shoes feels a little excessive. Enter super trainers. They're not quite daily trainers and they're not full-blown super shoes. They're somewhere in the middle. And they could be the perfect step-up shoe for you or your race day alternative. We're going to break down super trainers and where they might fit in your shoe rotation and why I think they're the perfect addition for every triathlete. Let's dig in. Super trainers are ultimately the in-between shoes. They're going to borrow a ton of tech from the race day super shoes, but with a little bit more versatility baked in. Here's what's going to define them. Premium foam. Normally they're going to have some PIBA mixed in there with potentially some EVA. And usually they're going to have some sort of plate, but it's normally going to be Pebax or a nylon to increase that propulsion. And they ultimately will have more of a race day fit. A little bit snugger, a lot lighter, and more breathable. They're fast, they're a little bit more fun, and they're great for those tempo runs, threshold work, but are awesome at covering those base miles as well. That's why I love them. So why do they matter? Because they start to give you a little bit of a taste of that race day energy and feel, but without sacrificing durability. For many triathletes, they're the perfect bridge between our daily trainers and stepping all the way up to those carbon plated race day shoes. That's how they fit in for me. So what's the catch? Well, of course, price. They're going to come in around 190 to 210. That's a pretty significant uptick from the 130 of the super trainers. The ride's going to feel stiffer, a little bit snappier, but they're not ideal for recovery days because they don't have the cushion that, say, a Max Cush does. So who are they for? If you're not quite ready to go full out and get into those race day carbons, but you want something that feels faster, looks a little bit sleeker, super trainers are for you. They work for long workouts, threshold, tempo, or how I use them, just to mix things up midweek and give myself a different running feel out on the track or on the trail. So which super trainers do I rock? Well, if you're watching my videos, you know I'm a Hoka guy. I love the fit, the consistency, and the return policy that allows you to wear them for 30 days and return them. I love that because as you're stepping up into a new shoe, whether it be a super trainer or a super shoe, we don't quite know what we're getting into or how much we're going to like it. So working with a company that has a return policy like Hoka is just a no-brainer for me when I'm choosing to step up to a $200 shoe like these Hoka Mach X's, or you're going all the way up to the super shoe, $250 to $300. So what do I love about the Mach X's? Well, first of all, this is the next in line to my favorite daily trainer, the Hoka Mach. When you look at kind of lineages of shoes, if you know one fits you well, it makes it much easier to step up into their next version with a little bit more of a race feel. So I already love the fit of the Hoka Mach, and I'm getting that here in the Hoka Mach X. This is my second pair of them, and it's their second iteration. In fact, I wore the Hoka Mach X in my last full Ironman, California, and they did me well. So let's talk about this shoe and what makes it a super trainer versus the Hoka Mach that we've already talked about. Number one, we're going to have a dual density foam bottom. So we're going to have PIBA and supercritical EVA mixed in. Once you move up to that PIBA foam, it's lighter, it's spongier, and it's more expensive. So it's going to add cost to the shoe, but it also adds quite a bit of capability. But I love having that supercritical EVA in there as well, because that gives the shoe a little bit more stiffness. With the PIBA, it's super soft. EVA stiffens it up. It's a great combo pack. Now you can probably see this little wing sticking out here. That's part of the Pebax plate. We can also see it on the bottom in the cutout. So the Pebax plate is in there to add even more rigidity and stiffness and give us more pop off of the floor. The Pebax plate is wonderful for that stiffness, but it isn't overly intrusive, meaning my feet don't bark on those 20, 25-mile runs, which is where we want to use these, especially if it's going to be race day. Another thing, the bottom, you'll notice, just like the Machs, a lot of rubber. So that's going to increase the durability. It increases the total weight, but this shoe, feather light at about 9 ounces. So we're getting really close to that race day lightness, but we still have that durability that we talked about. Now, where the magic on this shoe starts to come in versus the Mach is the upper. This is a huge departure from the Mach, and now we're moving into that race day feel. It's extremely light and airy. In fact, it's almost not there, and it's see-through. That's how light it is. And you'll notice in the back, the heel collar has almost no structure. Some people have complained about heel slip because of that in this shoe. For me, it's been 100% a non-issue. So this shoe for me has not only been great for all my training efforts, but amazing for race day as well, where I've used them on both accounts. So the Hoka Mach X's for me are definitely going to be that up-tempo shoe when mentally I know I want to pick up the pace. I'm going to reach for these, and I will also reach for these on race day because the durability, the comfort, and that extra propulsion. So when we talk about super trainers, are they super or are they just subpar? Well, honestly, I think they're one of the smartest additions that you can make to your shoe rotation. And if you're building a thoughtful long-term shoe rotation, you don't want gimmicks and you don't want overkill. You just want a well-engineered middle of the ground shoe for serious triathletes. This is the addition you need. Hey, if you got a favorite pair of super trainers, why don't you drop a comment below and let me know so we can compare notes. And as always, athletes, hit the like and subscribe button to keep up to date on all my videos as I continue to train for Ironman 70.3 Salem. Thanks for joining me, and as always, I'll see you on the start line.